Hey teachers, welcome to our Q&A today. I am so happy to be here with y'all. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Come on in and tell me where you're watching from today. That would be awesome. And I have a question for y'all. What is your favorite subject to teach? Okay. Hey Heather, I'm so glad you're here. She teaches kindergarten. Awesome. Tell me what your favorite subject is to teach. I would love to know. You guys already know what mine is, right? You guys know? Let's see if you can guess what my favorite subject is to teach. If you have been watching the boot camp all week and you've been watching my videos, you probably already know what my favorite is, right? So, welcome everybody who's hopping on. If you're just here, just now coming on, can you tell me what your favorite subject is to teach? I would love to know. And let's see if y'all can guess what mine is. Okay. Hey, Jennifer. So glad that you love teaching math. Yay! That's amazing. Hey, Jennifer, by the way, did you want the writing or the math subscription box? I forgot to ask you that yesterday. So can you just type it in real quick and let me know which one that you would like? That would be awesome. So Heather says, my favorite subject to teach is science. Whoa, good. It's so fun and engaging, plus it incorporates writing and reading. Absolutely. Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head right there, Heather. And let's see. Heather says, your favorite is writing? Yes, you guessed it. You guessed it, girl. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I love writing. I know a lot of teachers think I'm crazy, but I have a passion, such a passion for it. If y'all haven't watched my boot camp videos this week, make sure you go back and watch them. And then you will know that writing is my favorite. So, okay, so Jennifer says she wants the math. Okay, perfect. I'm going to be mailing off those boxes on Monday. Okay? So, I can't wait for you guys to get your boxes. So, I want you to share what has been your biggest favorite takeaway from this week. Okay? I want you to share with a group something you've learned that has been your favorite thing. Okay? It can be something with reading, something with writing, something with math, something with science. Anything that I have shared that you are going to try in your classroom that was your favorite thing, okay? So I have two teachers that have already completed their bingo card, Stacy and Deb. So great job, ladies. If you have completed your bingo card, go ahead and post it in the group. And then you get to choose between four different resources. You can choose Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, Story Companion, or The Little Engine That Could, Story Companion, or the buttons graphing activity, and what was the other one? Oh, 10 Black Dots, Story Companion. Okay? Y'all, I just got a new idea for a new subscription box. You want to hear it? A lit box, a literacy box. So I was thinking, not right now, but in the future, I was thinking that I could put together a box that is centered around a story. Okay? So like for example, 10 Black Dots. You could have the book in the box, plus an activity to go with the box, a game to go with the box, maybe a puppet to go with the box, um, some stickers, like something that would go with activities that would go with the book, the mentor text book. So I was thinking when I launch my Halloween box, it probably won't be till September, but I was thinking that maybe I could add a lit box. So that's really, I don't know, that's really what I was thinking of, a story companion box. So what do y'all think? Y'all think that would be fun? Okay. So Deb says writing is your favorite. Mine is reading. Oh yeah. I love reading too. You know what? Actually, I love all of it. I love all of it. But my least favorite, I don't know. My least favorite would probably be, I don't know, maybe social studies. I don't know. No, no, no. I love social studies too. Probably like spelling. I don't know. We used to teach spelling instead of phonics a long time ago, you know. Anyway, I'm getting off tangent here. But Jennifer says, "Oh, I love that idea of a book box. That would be awesome." I posted my bingo card when I signed in. Okay, perfect. That's awesome. Thank you guys. So you get 4 choices of a free resource if you post your bingo card. So I want you guys to stay until the end, and I'm gonna raffle off a name. I've got a jar full of names here of people that have submitted a question. You get to choose between a $30 Amazon card or a $30 TPT gift card. Okay. So that would be awesome if y'all could stay till the end, and you might win. You never know. All right. So I've got a lot of great questions. Let's get right into it. Okay. So I want you to think about if you decide to get into the membership or subscribe to my subscription box, this is kind of like a coaching call that I would be giving inside of my membership teachers. If you already are a membership teacher, then you already know how this works, okay? So in the Q&A, I have posted your question at the top of the slide, and then I have posted a picture or I have posted a sentence or a paragraph or whatever, and I'm going to go into depth for everybody's question, okay? So thank you so much for submitting questions. Y'all are awesome. I've really enjoyed being with y'all this week and spending time with you this week. Okay, so Allison, I don't know if she's here. Allison, are you here? Allison has the first question. How do you group your small groups? How often do you change the groups? How many students per group? So in my district, we have the M class, okay? So I'm just going to show you an example of what I do on how I group my kids in my small reading groups, okay? So if you're a Texas teacher, you know what M class is. And M class is phonics and reading, oral, phonological awareness. You know, it has all those different skills for phonics that the kids, we have to test everybody at the beginning and the middle and the end, okay? And so it tells you here, the beginning of the year, I had 18 kids. Now, this was from last year, okay? So my 18 kids, 2 students were below level, which was below level benchmark. And it says phonemic awareness, letter sounds, decoding, word reading, reading fluency. Okay, they were below level. I had 2 kids below. And then I had 5 kids that were below benchmark. Okay, so here's their scores right here. And then I had 9 kids that were at benchmark. And then I had 2 kids that are above benchmark. Okay, so according to my scores, okay, you know, back in the olden days, we would group our kids according to what reading level they were. But now we're with the science of reading. M class really goes into a lot of great data for us to group our kids according to what they need as far as phonemic awareness or letter sounds or decoding. So this is how I group my kids. Group number 1 was for phonemic awareness with my sound wall. Okay. Where my low group would be about 4 kids. So I would have about 4 groups. Last year I had 18 kids. So I had 4 groups. Okay. And then number 2, the second lowest group would be sound mapping and sentence dictation. That would be my low middle group, and that would be about 4 kids. So I'm kind of like dividing them up according to what their needs are. Group 3 was my middle group, and that was decodable reading, sentence dictation. That was my middle group. They had 5 kids. And then my high group was reading fluency and comprehension. That was 5 kids also. Okay, so you can really group your kids however you want to. I don't know, your district or your school might have a specific guideline for how you group your kids, but that's just what we have to do. We're suggested to do with the science of reading, okay? So I would typically have 4 groups. Last year, I only met with 1 group a day. I saw 1 group each day. So the first day I would meet with group 1, second day group 2, group 3, group 4. Okay, our phonics program that we have is 95% phonics. So everybody gets that 95% phonics. So that's another thing that I pull in to the reading groups whenever I meet with them. But Allison, that's a great question. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay. All right. And then Allison has another question. What is your best strategy for preparing students for centers and rotations? How do you keep them engaged? My center box? Just kidding. Okay. Well, here's what I do. And I have a module in the boot camp called Launching Literacy Centers from Day One. Now, if you've already bought the All Access Pass, that training is in the All Access Pass, okay? Or you can just buy the module for $12. And it shows you, it walks through my whole system of how I get my kids to understand all my 20 centers. It takes me about 20 days to introduce all my centers. And like I said yesterday in the live unboxing, there's only a handful of my centers that I switch out every month, maybe 5, okay, out of 20, okay? The rest of them stay the same all year. But what I do is I do 1 center a day, okay? My kids have a green center folder. They have a checklist in their green center folder, and I have a template at each center that they have to complete for bonus bucks. At the end of the month, we turn in all of our center pages for bonus bucks. Now, this keeps them engaged because they have a task that they have to do. It's kind of like a must do, may do, okay? I have those center cards. They read the center cards, and it says, I can complete my center page. I can read to my book buddy. And every card is different for the different centers, okay? Those are the cards that are in the box also for writing. And then we all sit in front of that center. So, for example, if I'm introducing the writing center, we're all sitting in front of the writing center together, okay? They all have a clipboard. They all have their writing template, which is their sticker story. They all have their pencil, okay? They're watching me. I'm pretending to play in the center. I'm pretending to work in the center. I'm doing the writing page with them, okay? We're doing it together. We all sit together. We do it whole group, okay? And I do that for 20 days. That's a long time, I know. But every single day, we talk about rules and procedures for that center. Every single day, we talk about what supplies do we need, where are we going to put our supplies when we're done, how do we clean our center. That's 20 days of rules and procedures for centers. That's a long time, okay? I'm very consistent about that. So by the time I have introduced all my centers, then I'm ready for them to go on their own, okay? Now, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect, okay? I have a star student that walks around to answer questions. I typically pick a star student that's really responsible, that really knows what's going on, that can answer questions about my centers. Because during their center time, I'm at my reading group table, my small group reading table. So up here we have my library center. I have my math center right here. I have my poetry center over here. My finger puppets at the bottom here. Then this one's my word work. And then this one is finger puppets. I'm sorry, felt board. So I have 20 centers. I have another question in just a minute about my centers. So I'll go over what my centers are. Okay. All right. Awesome. So Heather has a question. Heather's here today. Yay. Awesome. How many groups do you have and do you see all your groups every day? So, you know how I was talking about my M class data. Okay. I always talked about that and how I group my kids. So here is my science of reading groups, okay? My low group is phonemic awareness and my sound wall. My sound wall is right next to my teacher table, okay? I posted a video this morning of a video of my classroom. You guys watch that video, okay? Because it'll show you what my sound wall looks like, okay? And it goes through my whole room. Okay, wall to wall, corner to corner, and it shows you every little nook and cranny of my classroom, okay? And it might give you a better idea. But my sound wall I use during my small group reading time, okay? That's my low group. We also do sound mapping as well. And then my group 2 is my low middle group. My low middle groups works on sound mappings and sentence dictation. And when I say sound mapping, I'll talk to you about that in a minute. I have a picture to show you. And then my sentence dictation, I read them a sentence, I tell them a sentence orally, and they have to write it, okay? Just like when we do our phonics, 95% phonics. They have to write a sentence that I dictate. So we're practicing dictating sentences, okay? Group number 3 is my middle group. So then I do decodable reading. We have a lot of decodable readers. I have used the phonics decodable passages from our phonics book before. I typically use that with my high kids at the beginning of the year, or my middle and high kids. And then we work on sentence dictation and some comprehension. And then group 5 is reading fluency and comprehension. That's my high group. My high group doesn't necessarily need to do decodable readers. With my high group, I do guided reading with them. Okay. So when I do guided reading, they're doing a leveled story, like maybe a level M or a level N or a chapter book. Or maybe I'm doing a literature circle, depending on how high they are. So you want to give them challenging things to work on. We work on comprehension. I have comprehension questions on popsicle sticks that they draw, and then we answer questions about our story. We do a lot of guided writing. I have a guided writing booklet that we work out of. So then they answer questions like author's purpose, or they're answering text to self connection, or beginning, middle, and end, sequencing of events, theme, just different skills that we're working on with my high group. Okay. So those are my 4 groups. Like I said, I meet with 1 group a day. We also have a fit time, which is a focused instruction time, where I also pull another group. So I really meet with 2 groups a day, but my focused instruction group is more focused on maybe math. They might need a math, I might need a math group, like work on fact fluency, or I might do a handwriting group working on handwriting, or I might do, um, what is the other one? Story problems, like just different things that they may need work on. Okay. Or phonics, a phonics group. Okay. So, hey, Lorraine, I'm so glad you're here. Hi, Stacy. I'm so glad you're here. All awesome. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question, Heather. Um, I have a lot of blog posts that I can link to you with you guys in the comments, or I can post in the Facebook group that you can read about. A lot of these questions lead to my blog post or my podcast episodes that you can listen to also, which I can link for you later. Okay. Okay. Katrina, is Katrina here today? I don't know if Katrina is here. I haven't seen her. But Katrina Ann says, what activities do you use for independent reading centers and math centers? Okay, so like I said, I've got cards. I have ICANN cards for every center that I go over with the kids when I'm introducing their centers every single day for the first 20 days. Okay. So we all sit on front of the center together. They've got their clipboard, they've got their writing template, their center template, and they've got their center folder and their pencil. Okay. We also talk about our voice level that we need to have in centers, because everybody else is working at their seats, and then I'm pulling groups, and then if they're done with their seat work, then they can go to their centers. So this is actually an extension of Reader's Workshop. Okay. If you haven't watched my video about Reader's Workshop, that's the very first day of the boot camp that I go over, the first day of Reader's Workshop. So my centers are a must do, may do. They must do a center page. Okay. So if you look at this little boy in the middle, he's playing with the clock, he's telling time, but he has his center page right here that he is writing on. Okay. And I'm going over the center pages for those first 20 days. Every day is a different page because every day is a different center. And I show them all the activities that they can do. I do not switch out all my centers. The only ones that I switch out are my theme center, my listening center. Listening is easy because I have those posters that have QR codes on them. So I just switch the poster. I switch my poetry, which is very easy. Again, I'm just switching the poster. But the main centers that I do are the writing, the kitchen, and my theme. That's only 3. That's 3 centers that I switch out every month out of 20. That's it. That's easy. Okay. So that's why I wanted to provide these activities in my subscription boxes for you guys so they last a whole month, so you're not stressed out having to, switch them out every week. So Deb says fit is intervention groups. Yes, Deb, is our focused instruction time. Yes, it's last year it was 30 minutes and this year's going to be 45 minutes. So in that 45-minute time, I can actually pull 2 more groups. I can pull a phonics group and I can pull a math group. Last year when I did my fit time, I did a math group with fact fluency. That was really awesome. because we worked on addition and subtraction, and then they kept track of their goals in their student data folder, and they marked in which addition and subtraction they have already completed. And then when they were finished with that, they got to have some bubble gum. So that was really fun. They were motivated to try to get to all the addition and subtraction fact fluency. I also did a group of sight words. We worked on sight words. I have an activity in my data folder that has a gumball machine, and every time they complete 10 words, they would color in a gumball in their gumball machine, and then they got to have some bubble gum at the end. So that was really fun. Let's see. Heather says, I typically have 32 students, so no aid, so seeing everyone weekly is tricky. I know. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you can probably, try to get 2 groups in if you can, 2 groups a day, and your groups might need to be a little bit bigger. But try, don't stress yourself out, because think about this. If you're doing readers workshop, writers workshop, phonics time, literacy centers, I mean, those are other ways the kids are getting the skills that they need rather than your teacher table. So at the beginning, Heather, what I would do is I would really start with just my low babies and meet with my low babies first, and then see how they progress, and then maybe you can add in other kids and as the year goes on. But they're still getting all of the skills that they need. A lot of teachers think I have to meet with every single kid every day. No, you don't. Not I don't. I don't do it. And my kids still make progress, and they still are successful because they're still getting the whole group instruction that they need from you. Okay. They're getting it other ways. So just kind of think about that. It's kind of a different mindset. But I don't meet with everybody every day. That's way too much. It's too much stress, I think. Okay. So, but 32 kids, wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. Bless you, honey. Bless you. Okay, Darcy. Darcy has a question. I don't know if Darcy is here today. But she says, what's one strategy that you found most helpful when talking with parents about unwanted behaviors? Okay. The number one thing I can tell you is you have to build a relationship with your parents. That's why I have a whole module about this. Okay. In the module, I talk about how I communicate with my parents. I have a weekly newsletter. I post videos with them on Seesaw, like I talked about in the writing one, with the writing video. I'm constantly sending positive notes, positive referrals. I'm giving the kids positive compliments all the time. Okay. I try to be really intentional. When I see a parent at school, I try to be very intentional and go up to them, and I say hi, and I talk to them, and I ask them how they're doing. I try to be really intentional. Now, it doesn't always happen that way because, you're busy. But if I have some time that I can go up to a parent, hey, how's it going? How's your day going? Give them a hug or whatever. That speaks volumes right there. But if you just walk right by that parent, you're hi, and don't spend time talking to them, that speaks volumes also. But I know sometimes we're in a hurry. I mean, it's my lunchtime, I'm in the cafeteria, and then there's parents waiting for their kids. I will go over to them, give them a hug, and then I will tell them, hey, I'm so glad you're here. Little Johnny's so excited that you're here to have lunch with them. Just take just a couple of seconds. That's all you need to do. And they just take the time to talk to them. Build some relationships. You got to do that. So this is a picture of one of my families that I had a couple years ago. The mom was actually a principal at one of our high schools that is here in our town. And the dad was also a teacher. So it was a little intimidating for me, of course, when you have principal's kids in your class or you have teacher's kids in your class, it's a little intimidating, right? But you gotta be confident that you know what you're doing. Okay. And I try to build a relationship with them from the very beginning because, she's a principal, and you never want to burn any bridges, right? Because you never know when things come around, and she might be my principal someday. You never know, right? So, her son had some behavior issues in the class, and we met together. I will never forget this meeting because we met together the four of us met, me and the child, and then the parents. The four of us met together, and we just had a very serious talk because he was having trouble listening. He was having trouble following directions. He was being like the class clown. He was very smart. He just did not, he was not motivated to follow directions and listen and do what he was supposed to do. He just had a little mind of his own. He's a boy, right? So we all met together and we flat out just asked him, what would you like to have happen in the classroom? What would you like to have happen? And so we just had a talk, and he was crying because he was upset about it, and the parents were very concerned. But since I had already built a relationship with her and him beforehand, when I suggested to put him on a behavior contract, no brainer. They were like, yes, let's do it. Let's do it. I think it's great. It's perfect. So I have a resource that's also in the module, Building Relationships with Students and Parents. That is my behavior contract. Okay. So at the top here, it tells the name of the kid. So you can say Johnny's model week, then the week of, and then you're going to write the date. So this would be a calendar that you could put inside of their behavior folder. Okay. And so we talked about having 3 goals for this child. He was going to work on listening. He was going to work on following directions and maybe finishing his work on time. Those are the 3 goals. You don't want to overwhelm the child and have all these goals. Maybe 2 or 3 goals and that's it. He would get a happy face every single day for each goal that he would complete successfully. Okay. Now this would be in his behavior folder. So it would go home every day in his backpack. Mom and dad would look at it every single day. They would initial it every single day. So you see how the parents and I were working together. And every time I have done this with any child in my class, when the parents and I work together like this, it just makes their relationship even stronger. And the child gets so much better because they know they don't have a choice. Now, Miss Rickman and mom and dad are on the same page, and I don't have a choice. I have got to do what I've got to do, So then he would earn quarters, or he would earn stickers at home, and then he was working towards a big accomplishment, okay? A big reward. Maybe he was saving his quarters to buy something really special, or getting ice cream on Friday, or, something that he was working towards. But you have to build that relationship before you even start a behavior contract. Make sure that you email the parents consistently. Even if the child at the beginning of the year, even if the child is not doing anything right, and just find something very small. Oh, I love having Johnny in my room. I love how he colors. I love how he sits on the carpet. I love how he makes friends. Just try to make something. Just give a little bit of something, a compliment, okay? And I try to email everybody at the beginning of the year. If I have 20 kids, that's 20 emails. So maybe I'll send 2 a day, okay, for the first 20 days of school, and then give the parents a compliment about their child. That's a huge thing, right? Huge, huge, huge. So that's how I build my relationships. And I hope that helps a little bit. Okay, Becca. Is Becca here? If you're here, let me know. Becca says, what is the best advice you have for first year teachers? Oh my gosh, Becca, this is a great question. Okay, so I made a list. Now, if you guys have any other suggestions, you don't have to wait for me to answer. You can answer in the comments also, okay? Number 1, don't try and do everything your first year. Just don't. You're going to see these perfect classrooms from veteran teachers. You're going to look at Pinterest and see all these beautiful classrooms. Mine's not perfect either, okay? Don't try to do everything at one time. Just stagger, okay? Maybe the first month you can try putting curtains up in your room. Maybe the second month, maybe you can try to add a writing center, okay? Just stagger it out and don't try to do all of it the same time. You're going to burn yourself out so fast and get really overwhelmed, okay? Number 2, if you don't know the answer to a parent, say, I will find that out for you. I'm not sure right now, but I will find that out for you and I will get back with you on the answer. Don't make up something that's not true. Okay? A lot of people fall into this trap. They make up something just to sound like they're smart, like they know everything, right? But then what the information that you give them is false. Okay? That burns more bridges than mending. So you need to tell them, I really don't know right now. I will find that out for you and I'll get back to you. Okay? It's okay if you don't know all the answers. It's okay, especially if you're new to a campus, you're new to a district. Okay? Everybody starts somewhere, right? I had when I first started teaching, one of my parents, when I had meet the teacher night, she asked me how old I was. She was not happy that I was young. She was not happy. I could tell. She was really tall, this really tall woman, and I'm really short. So I was looking up at her, and she was like, "How old are you?" And I was like, I forget how old I was, maybe 25, 26. She goes, "Well, is this your first year teaching?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And she's like, "Oh." And I could tell, like, on the look on her face, she was devastated because her son had a first year teacher. But you know what? Her son had one of the greatest years of his life. And then her opinion of me changed real quick. So, looks can be deceiving. I may be short, but I'm mighty. Okay, and then number 3, don't be afraid to ask for help from your admin or your team. I hope and pray that everybody watching today has a supportive team. I really hope that you do, because that will make or break you. Okay, I have been teaching at my school for 23 years. Most of those about 20 so years, I have been with the same person on my team. It's been a long time. We've been teaching together for about 20 years now. Other people on my team, we've been together for about 10 years. So my team has stayed pretty steady. We've really gotten to know each other really well. We know our strengths and weaknesses. We know when to stay out of each other's way. We know when to joke around and when not to. We know when to give each other space. But it's hard to do that when you have a brand new team. Okay. You have to figure out everybody's threshold, right? But the team leader on your team is your go-to person. Okay. So whoever that is, make sure that you go to them and say, "I need help. How do you do this? How do you do your centers? How do you hand out your supplies? How do you meet the teacher night? How are y'all doing those things?" You need to ask questions. Don't assume that what you're doing is the correct way. It might be in your eyes, but then the whole team has been doing something the same way for years. Okay. And hopefully they will tell you all this when y'all have your team meeting. They will sit you down and say, "Okay, this is what we do for this and this and this and this. This is what we do for meet the teacher night. This is what we do the first day of school. This is what we do for our mock dismissal. This is what we teach starting the second day of school." So you just make sure that you ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Keep a notebook and write down all your questions and keep track of all your answers. Okay. You're going to forget after a couple of days because everything's going to be so overwhelming. You're going to forget what they said. So write it down or put notes in your phone. Okay. So ask your admin too. Don't be afraid to ask your admin. They need to be there for you also. My admin is really good about meeting with brand new teachers once a month. He calls it our flight school because we're the Faber Falcons. And he calls it our flight school. So he's really good about meeting with every new team member, new staff member every month to check in. So that's part of his philosophy to making sure that we're okay. Okay. So I want you guys to comment and tell me, how many teachers do you have on your team? I would love to know how many teachers are on your team. Let's see. Deb says, "As a veteran teacher, I wish new teachers would ask more questions." Yes, Deb, that is so true. That is so true. I know. And I have gotten to the point now where I kind of I've been teaching for so long, and I know when there's a new person on our team, I've gotten to the point now where I notice whenever they're struggling, and I just go over there and I'm like, "Hey, what can I help you with? What can I do something for you?" And I just take the time to go and offer my help because I know they're struggling. So, and not all teachers are like that. So you're going to have to, if you're new, you're going to have to just go and just ask, okay? Just bite the bullet and do it. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be nervous. We've all been there. We've all been there. Let's see. Stacy says she has 5. Okay. Deb says we have a team of 4. Okay. Heather says we are a small school. It's me and one other teacher. Wow. Okay. Oh, that's why, Heather, that's why you have so many kids. Is you only have 2 teachers. I get it. Oh my goodness. Wow. Maybe I can hire another teacher. So, okay. And then number 4, take care of yourself. You cannot be a good teacher unless you take care of yourself first. Take time to relax. Take time to get away from the classroom for a while. You know what I do sometimes is I go out to our courtyard during my conference time when it's a nice, beautiful, sunny day. I put my sunglasses on. I sit outside in the courtyard for about 5 minutes by myself in the sun, and I just close my eyes and I just relax. I get away from my classroom for a little bit. And all the teachers walking by will wave at me through the window. I'm like, I'm good. They're worried about me because I'm sitting out there by myself. I'm like, I'm good. I just need 5 minutes peace. 5 minutes peace. That's all I need. All right. Okay. So Becca, I hope I answered your questions. All right. Jessica, is Jessica here today? Let me know, Jessica. Okay, do you have morning meetings with your class, asking them how their weekend was for those students who would like to share? When I worked in the classroom, they did this in Minnesota Public School. Absolutely. Morning meeting is so powerful. I love to have morning meeting. So I have a morning meeting schedule. So this is my class from a couple years ago, sitting in a circle, and I sit in the circle with them on the floor. Yes, I still sit on the floor. It's kind of hard for me to get up, but I still sit on the floor. I'm almost 50 years old and I still sit on the floor with them. So on Monday, now my morning meeting is only about 5-10 minutes. It's very short, very sweet, to the point. Okay. And then Monday we share good things. All right. So I have a little sand timer that's 1 minute long. The very first day of school, we practice how to pass around the sand timer. When the sand timer is out, you got to pass it on. Your time is up and you cannot keep talking. Because I have a schedule. I tell them we have this much to do in this little time. Okay? So my little sand timer, you can have a 30-second timer, you can have a minute timer, you can have a 2-minute timer, however much time you have. But the kids know when that timer's up, they've got to pass it on to the next person. When they share good things, they want to talk and talk and talk and talk. But having a timer in their hand, having something that they can look at as a countdown is very helpful. Okay? So give them a sand timer when they share good things. Now I tell them you don't have to speak. If you don't want to speak, you just pass it on. Okay. But they have to introduce themselves. When they start, they say, hello, my name is Kara. And what I did over the weekend was, okay, then they can talk. Okay. They have to introduce themselves. There is a lot of power in teaching a child how to introduce themselves to other kids. They don't know how to do that. When they meet new people, new adults, new teachers, they don't know how to introduce themselves. So this is a really powerful tool that you can implement just really quickly in the morning meeting. Okay. Okay. Tuesday, we share a new skill. We listen to a mentor text. Okay. So I share whatever the skill is. In our district, we've got 4 9-weeks, and each 9 weeks has a different skill. For example, we might have responsibility, we might have optimism, we might have good decision making, self-awareness, social awareness. Okay, so we have a different social skills that we talk about for the whole 9 weeks. And so we talk about the new skill. I introduce it, and then we listen to a mentor text. I might read it to them, or listen to a YouTube. Usually during morning meeting, I have them listen to a YouTube, the story on YouTube, just because sometimes my voice needs a break. And I like to sometimes I just like to sit and just listen to a story myself. Okay. And they need to listen to other people tell stories besides me, right? Especially men. And different people with different accents are really fun for them to listen to. They love that. Okay, and then Wednesday, we discuss our new skill. We complete an anchor chart and class building activity. So if we're talking about kindness, I might draw a big heart on my anchor chart for kindness, and I might color it in ahead of time and then give them a Post-it note, and then they might draw a picture of something that they have done that shows kindness, or something that they will do that day that will be kind, and then they can post it on the anchor chart. It's kind of like what I do for my interactive anchor charts when I do reading, writing, and math and science. So it's kind of like that. You can do an interactive anchor chart with the social skill. Okay. And then that anchor chart will stay up the whole 9 weeks. So we can always refer back to it. Are we being kind today? Okay. Just little things like that. And then Thursday will I do a whole child journal entry, a morning meeting journal. So on Thursday I might give them like an interactive notebook that has a heart on it, and then they're going to draw a picture of something that they showed kindness with, or you could give them their post-it note that they drew the day before to put it in their journal. Sometimes I've used those little bitty journals. You know, those little bitty ones that are about this big from Walmart. They come in a pack of 5. So I've used those little bitty ones as my morning meeting journal, and then they can keep their post-it notes in there, in that little journal. And that little journal can stay in their supply box. And then that's only used for morning meeting time. Okay, so that's kind of like a journal entry for morning meeting. Let's see, Deb says, I chose the room right across from our outdoor classroom. That's a great idea. That way you can have some 5 minutes peace, Deb. And then Friday, we talk about what are we looking forward to. Again, they're going to introduce themselves. Hello, my name is. I'm looking forward to. And then they can share something they're looking forward to during the day at school, or after school, or on the weekend. And I love to hear what they're going to do on the weekend, because then on Monday, I can follow up with them and say, well, how was your soccer game? Or how was the rodeo? Or how was Fiesta Texas or Six Flags? And I can ask them how their weekend was, and I kind of remember. It helps me remember what they were going to be doing. So, or their birthday party or whatever. So building relationships is really important. And then morning meeting is really a good place to build relationships, not only with me, but for each other, for them, from student to student as well. Okay. So Jessica, hopefully I answered your question. Okay. Bridget has a question. I don't know if Bridget is here today. Can someone show their group rotations? Okay. So you know how I was talking about my 20 centers. Okay. And it takes me 20 days to introduce all my centers in my room. We all sit together in front of that one center, and I'm talking about the must do and the may do. Well, I don't have rotations when I'm doing Reader's Workshop. Okay. The workshop model is the I do, the we do, the you do. So I am pulling my kids for their reading group while they're doing their schema notebook. Remember, their schema notebook is their reading comprehension journal. We did that first make and take together. So I'm calling them from either their seat work time or their center time. I'm just calling them up to my reading table. I don't do a rotation. I know some teachers love to do rotations because it forces them to meet with every single kid. Now, I do that for math, but I don't do that for reading. Okay. I want to have a little bit extra time when I do my reading groups. I don't want to be stressed and have to stop my reading group at a certain time. So I spend about 15 minutes for each reading group. For math, I spend 10 minutes, but for reading, I spend about 15 minutes because there's a lot of things that I want to do. So when they're going to centers, this is what my center chart looks like. I have all of these center icons. When they finish their seat work, they're going to walk over here to the center chart. They're going to look at their center cards. Every student in my class has a number. I call it their magic number. So student 1, 2, 3, 4 is going to go to these 4 centers in the first row. They have a whole week to go to those centers. They can choose any 4 of those centers that they want to. Now, this is only after I have completed introducing all my centers in my class, right? Okay, this is only when I'm all finished and they're ready to go. So about 20 days into school. Okay, and then number 5, 6, 7, 8, they can choose between these 4 or 5 centers for the whole week. When they finish one center, they can go to the next center. I only have 1 kid per center. Since I have 20 centers, I can usually get away with 1 kid per center. The only center that has 2 kids, that can have 2 kids, is my kitchen center because it has 2 chairs. Okay. And then number 9, 10, 11, 12, they can choose between these centers. And then 13, 14, 15, 16, choose between these centers. Okay. So let me just tell you my centers real quick. Technology, author study, art, drama, library, calendar, math, poetry, engineering. This is construction or STEM. No, I'm sorry, games. Some of these are cut off a little bit. Felt board, word work, read the room, theme, big books, write the room, finger puppets, construction or STEM, word wall, geography, research, science, listening, and science. Museum, sorry. So I've actually cut back from these. I don't have all of these anymore. I only have 20 of these now. But this was before I got a little bit crazy. And then I got rid of 4 centers because I didn't have enough space in my room for one. And so anyway, now I have 20 of these, but those are my 20 centers. So they have a must do, may do. And then after they get finished with their center template, they have to go back to their desk and color it. And then it goes into their center folder. Okay. So that is how I do my centers. So if you're interested in watching the center, launching literacy centers from day one, excuse me. Oh my goodness. Launching literacy centers from day one, that's the module, that's $12. And then you get all of my center templates. You get all of my center icons. There's 2 different ones you can choose from. There's a farmhouse and there's a rainbow one, a rainbow resource. Okay. So that one is still available those are still available till Sunday. Okay. Jennifer C. I know Jennifer G is here, but I'm not sure Jennifer C. Jennifer Condon. So how do you scaffold word boxes and writing supports while not fostering over-reliance on them? So I do a lot of sound mapping. And we do a lot of this during our phonics, 95%. And so sound mapping, I have this in a blog post. I will post this in the Facebook group later. In the blog post, I talk about how I do my sound mapping with my phonics groups, my reading groups. So there's 3 boxes and then there's 4 boxes. So typically I do the short vowels. We all do the short vowels first because that's the order that it is in our phonics book. And so we make the word with chips. You know those little red and yellow chips? So the red is the vowel and the yellow is the consonant, okay? So if I make the word cat, we're going to move the chips up into the boxes, at, and then that will be yellow, red, yellow. And then we write the word next to it, okay? So that would be all like short A words. The 4 boxes would be when we have blends. So like scat, scat. So then I would do yellow, yellow, red, yellow in the box for blends, okay? So that's my sound mapping. I'm not really sure if I answered your question, what you were asking, Jennifer, if you're watching, but I was thinking word boxes. When I saw the word word boxes, I was thinking about my sound mapping. So hopefully that makes sense. But I use these with my reading groups at the very beginning of the year with all my groups, and then my high groups, they slowly advance on from here. I mean, actually not slowly, they quickly advance on. Okay, Deb, I know Deb is here. Okay, what do you do the first 5 days of school? What do the first 5 days of school look like? So Deb, there's a lot of things that go on in the first 5 days of school. So the first thing that I would say is that you have to do rules and procedures. Okay, I have a slideshow. I have an editable slideshow. If you haven't downloaded that from the file section, make sure that you do that. This is just an example of one of my slides when I'm talking about our morning greetings, because I have morning greetings that we do at the door before the kids come in. And I have a whole morning routine that we talk about every single day. And so my slideshow is going to really break down your rules and procedures. It is totally editable, so you can add the text on the slides. You can add pictures or graphics on the slides, clip art, whatever you want to add. And then what I do is I put these slides into my Google Slides, because this is a PowerPoint. And then I just make a screenshot of it and then I put it into my Google Slides on my board, okay? So rules and procedures are very important. You want to make sure that you are practicing those every single day. I would practice them for the first 9 weeks, not just for 5 days, but for the whole 9 weeks. You're going to be consistent in practicing your procedures. How do they raise their hand? How do they sit on the floor? How do they come to the carpet? Um, lots of those different practicing over and over. How do we line up? How do we come into the classroom after we've been at camp time or recess time or lunchtime? How do we walk in the hallway? So I go through all of those things with my classroom organization systems in my module. I go over all of those rules and procedures, and I give you lots of great resources for that. But you have the editable slideshow that you can use. And then for math, we do a lot of the, like I was talking about in the math video, we talk about math rotations. We start talking about math rotations, and I have 4 groups. Each group is doing a different activity at a different time, and then I rotate the basket around because every table has a basket. The table captain is going to be practicing handing out all the supplies. So during math time, we're practicing independent practice. We're practicing a gumball machine game. And if you purchase the math module, all of these math activities are all in there. So we're practicing independent practice. We're practicing sorting manipulatives, okay? And how to take care of the manipulatives, how to put them away, how to get all the air out of the bag, how to close the bag, how to take care of them. I'm introducing my math toolbox to them. And I'll show you more about that in a minute. And then for writing time, we are practicing our tiny moment story, which is in the writing module. I always talk about tiny moments. After the first 5 days, we talk about a special memory, a special moment that's really special in your life, and then we write about it. I also give them a dictionary. This is my writing dictionary. It's also in the module. And then I'm teaching them how to find words in their dictionary and how to spell words during their writing time. So that's just like the icing on the cake. There's a lot of underlying things, like how do we take care of our school supplies? I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. Where do we put our school supplies? How do we organize our school supplies? I have them, we take a tour of our desk. We take off all the supplies out of the basket, and I talk about every supply. We put it back in the basket. We talk about our crayon box, what goes in the crayon box. Where do I put my bonus bucks? I have a little container for that as well. Where do I get tissues? Where do I put my scissors? Where do I put my glue stick? How do I take care of my name tag? Where do I put my backpack? I mean, all of that stuff. There's so much. And in the slideshow, then it'll go over all of those. It has the heading for each one that I do, and then you can add your own as you want to. Oh, you're welcome. I hope that helps a little bit. Awesome. Okay, and then Jennifer G is here today. She says, I will have the option of desks or tables for my classroom. I have seen both used, and I have a list of pros and cons for both. What do you use? What would you recommend? I believe I will have about 20 students in my class, so 4 or 5 tables or 20 desks. Thank you. Okay, Jennifer, I have tables. They're small tables. I don't have desks where I have the compartments underneath or on the side. So I've only used tables. That's all I had. That's all we were allowed to use. But I have developed a system where I have these baskets on their table. And I've done it different ways, but this is my favorite way because over the years I've adapted. And so my baskets here are the teal baskets, and they have numbers on them. Those are their magic number. And then inside the basket, this is where I keep their journals. I have 4 journals. I've got my schema notebook, focus poetry, math journal, science and social studies are together. So I have 4 journals. I have their data folder, their student data folder. I have their clipboard. I have their whiteboard. I have their study carrel, privacy folder. And then I have their work folder, their unfinished work folder. So all of that gets stacked in there. By the end of the year, that bucket is jam-packed. It is jam-packed. And thank goodness we end school when we do, because I don't think any more stuff could fit in that basket by the end of the year. And then on the side, there's their crayon box. And then I have a little container that is at the back of their desk. That's where they keep their bonus bucks, their pencil, their highlighter, their glue stick, their glue bottle. That's mainly for their bonus bucks because their bonus bucks will stick up out of it. Okay. So if you like having those baskets, I just got them from Amazon. They're all different colors. Excuse me. And then it's really cool because they hook together. On the inside, they hook together so they don't fall over. Or this is another way that I did their supplies. Since I didn't have a desk compartment, I put two crates together on the side. I zip tied two crates together, and then I put the baskets inside the crates at the end of the tables. So you could do that too. If you do that, then the kids have to take their basket out and put it on their desk during the day, but then they can put it back in the crate if you want them to. I did that for a couple years, and I didn't really like the crates. They would move around. The kids would push them around, and so I just decided that to leave their baskets on their desk. They just stay on their desk all the time. And I like that so much better because, like I said, they hook together and then their supplies can stick in there. So you can also have community supplies if you want to have a community bin. I did away with that after a while. I didn't like that anymore because they would argue over whose pencil is whose glue bottle is whose highlighter is whose. And so they would argue. So I got away with the community supplies and I just put everything at their desk. The more that you can have at their desk where they don't have to get up and roam around the room, the better. I even have their backpack at their desk. Their backpack is on the back of their chair. Okay? So I've only had tables. I hope that helps a little bit. But you can use desks, whatever you want to do. Okay? Okay, and then Jennifer says, in your math video today, or actually it was the other day, you kept mentioning a helper. Is this a student or a volunteer? I'm new at a school and I'm heading to, so I won't really know any older students to come help. Thank you so much for all you do. You're so welcome. So, Jennifer, we have a K1 have a teaching assistant, a TA, that comes in for the first 3 days of school. They help us only in the mornings for about an hour, and then they help us with anything that we need. It is especially helpful on the very first day of school because, like I said, the helper that I have, the TA, has to go and make sure all of the bus tags, car tags are on the backpacks, and I have to make sure that I have everything written down, that how they go home. That's the first thing that I make sure that the TA does for me. After she does that, then I have her sort the school supplies. And so if the kids did not bring their school supplies at me at the teacher night, then I have them go in the backpacks and take out all the supplies, and then she sorts them. I have a big table outside in our neighborhood. She takes all those supplies out there. She sorts all the journals together, all the folders together, and then she puts labels on all of them. Because I like to label my schema notebook. I like to label my math journal, my focus poetry, and all that stuff. I label. So I have little labels that she peels off and then she puts them on everything. Okay, so that's a very big help for me because that will take me hours and hours and hours to do those supplies, right? So it's very helpful. Okay, Lorraine. I'm not sure if Lorraine is here today. Maybe she is. Let me know, Lorraine, if you're here. How does one differentiate the instruction in your modules when a second grader has been diagnosed recently being both dyslexic and having a special language disorder? Okay, so Lorraine, in my modules, if you remember, I have differentiated interactive notebooks that are 3 different levels. So I know you've purchased the All Access Pass, and so you've got all the modules that you can go and look at. So for each module, first 10 days of reading, first 10 days of writing, math, science, and social studies, and phonics, there are differentiated notebooks. So the red sticker is like the below level, like would be for kindergarten level. The green sticker is the on level, and then the yellow sticker is the above level. Okay. So at the beginning of the year, I would give everybody the same color. In my class, I'm going to give everybody the green because that is the on level. From there, I can judge and I can see who needs the red and who needs the yellow and who needs to stay on the green. If they're able to do it easily, not a problem. They're able to write sentences, not a problem. Then they can go to the yellow part, the yellow one. If they're having trouble even coloring, holding a pencil, writing their name, writing words and labeling, they may need to go down to the red to just to color the pictures. So they need more fine motor skills. So you can kind of judge to see what they need. And Lorraine, you're also getting the writing subscription box, which you signed up for. Yay, I'm so excited. So in that box, you have these cards with all of the farm animals. They have the word and they have the picture. So for ESL, ELL learners that cannot speak English very well yet, these are excellent cards that you can use in your center to give them support, more language support that they need, okay? And if since you are in my teacher membership now, Lorraine, you have access to all my story companions. All my story companions have vocabulary cards with the word, with the picture that goes with the word. So you're set. You're set. I always have an ESL or ELL kids in my room, and I'm ESL certified. So I have learned over the years that a word with a picture for vocabulary is extremely important. Also, make sure when you have the kids turn and tell, make sure that you pair that ELL kid with a high person, and so they can help each other. If you pair that ELL kid with another low kid, it's going to be very hard for them to have a conversation, I feel like. So, and that's another less stressful way for those kinds of kids to have conversations and learn the language, like by turning and telling each other things without having to say it in front of the whole class, because they get so embarrassed because they don't speak the language. So I've had a Russian child in my room, I've had a Vietnamese child in my room, I've had a Spanish kid in my room, lots of different ethnicities in my room. So I know that having the picture with the word really, really helps a lot, and then giving them chances to have conversations that are not stressful. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. Okay, Stacy is here. I know Stacy's here. My question is, do you make a math toolbox for each student? Yes, I do. So this is my math toolbox. So inside the math toolbox, I just have some of those crayon boxes, those pencil boxes, and I have snap cubes. I have a tape measure. I have dice. I have place value cubes, the tens and ones. I have a little coin purse full of coins. I have little bitty tiles that have numbers 1 through 12, which we practiced in my small group, putting them in order, counting forwards, counting backwards, skip counting. And then what else? Oh, I have those little counters with the red and the yellow side. I have those counters in there. And I give them a day during my math workshop time. When we do our rotations, I give them a day to just explore their math toolbox. Okay. So, and we talk about how to take care of it, and we talk about how to put everything in the box the way it should be put in the box, and how to organize it really nice and keep it nice and neat. So yes, my kids have a toolbox. We use it during math workshops. Sometimes I'll have them bring it to my teacher table. So because they are going to do an activity, like when we learn how to play bump, they'll bring their toolbox because they have snap cubes in their toolbox, and we'll use those cubes to play bump. When we play in and out, we might bring our toolbox because they have those little counters in there that they can use for in and out. So different games that I teach them at my teacher table. And then they can also use their math toolbox if they are fast finishers. They can always get their math toolbox and they can explore. They can add, they can subtract, they can measure, they can make patterns, they can count forwards, backwards, they can skip count, they can count money. I mean, there's all different things they can do if they're a fast finisher, because you're going to have those fast finishers for sure, right? Especially when you have your math rotations. Some are going to get done really early, some are going to get done really late. So you're going to need some buffer time, something for those high kids to do. So the math toolbox is perfect for that. Okay, I think I answered everybody's question. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So if you haven't watched my live unboxing of my subscription box, make sure you go back from yesterday and watch that, okay? My live unboxing was awesome. I really enjoyed doing that with y'all and showing you everything that was in my boxes. So remember, each box is $50 for one or $80 for both, okay? This is only bi-monthly. If you decide to get just the box by itself without the membership, it's every other month. It's not monthly. It's every other month, bi-monthly. And guys, I only have 10 spots left, okay? My limit was 15, and I've already I've already gotten like nine people. So I only have 10 spots left because I don't want to overwhelm myself because I'm a full-time teacher. So I really would love for you guys to join. Remember, it's bi-monthly. If you only get the box, or if you get both of them, you save $20, okay, on both boxes. So 3 reasons why you need my subscription box. It saves you time and overwhelm each month. No stress, no exhaustion, okay? Nothing of that. You don't have stress, you don't have exhaustion, you're not overwhelmed because you're only doing it once a month, okay? Once a month. Number 2, it benefits not only you as the teacher, but your students as well. Okay, these activities are fun, they're engaging and memorable. Your students will love them. I know they will love them because mine love them. I've done everything in those boxes with my own students and they love them. They ask to play bump. They ask to play in and out. They love going to the writing center and writing cards and letters and sticker stories. I mean, which kid wouldn't want that, right? They love those things. Number 3, you're not having to think about what activities to put in your math or your writing center. They're already prepped and ready to go. They're already laminated. They're already cut out. The supplies are already in there for you. All you got to do is just put them on the shelf, right? Just set it up. Or put them at your teacher table and teach it, and then you're ready to go, okay? Remember, the All Access Pass is $67, and you get my first month free in my teacher membership. Now, guys, this is important. The cart closes on Sunday. You only have 3 more days. 3 more days, the cart's going to close, okay? I will not open this subscription until September, okay? Because in September, I'm going to be starting to show you guys my Halloween subscription box, okay? This will be closed until September. So you want to snag it now. Like I said, I only have 10 more spots. If you want the bronze teacher membership, Cross-Curricular Connections is bronze. That's just 400 resources. It's 400 plus resources plus 2 courses. The courses are 9 PD hours each. That's 35 a month. Okay, 35 every month. And you get access to any of my resources anytime that you want to. Anytime, 24/7, okay? The silver is 45 a month, okay? 400 plus resources, plus 2 courses, and 1 subscription box of your choice. Okay? 45 a month. Or the gold. The gold is, I think, the best one because you get both boxes. Okay? The 65 a month, 400 plus resources, 2 courses, 2 subscription boxes. Now, if you purchase any of these today, remember you get the All Access Pass for free. For free! Okay, it's a bonus that I'm adding to the membership because it's not a part of the membership at all. Okay, it's totally separate. So if you're interested, there's already a link in the comments that you can look at it. Okay, you can check it out. Why this teacher membership? Well, you get into a private Facebook group, which is this one right here, to collaborate and get support 24/7 from me, from fellow teachers. Okay, it's a support system that you can have whenever you want to. Okay, you are not alone. It takes a village, right? You are not on this island by yourself, especially if you're a new teacher. I do not want you to think I've got to do all this by myself. No. Okay, I am here for you. I want to be that support system for you that I had when I was first teaching. Okay, and then you get coaching calls with me once a month for PD credit. Okay, this is kind of like a coaching call, what I just did with y'all, answering questions. So I'll give you a training and then we're going to do a Q&A at the end. It's really fun. I'm also going to have chances for you to win Amazon cards, TPT cards, okay? There's lots of chances to win things. Maybe a mentor text. Sometimes I give away free mentor texts for you guys and I mail it to you. You also get exclusive lesson plans for each month with 14 days of lesson plans, including objectives, interactive notebooks, anchor charts, writing craftivities, science investigations, and suggested mentor text. These are exclusive lesson plans. I do not sell them in my TPT store. They're only in this membership. And then a peace of mind to start the new year and knowing you have resources at your fingertips anytime that you want to, rather than having to search Google, Pinterest, TPT for endless hours. Okay? So Why subscribe today? So you only have 10, I only have 10 spots left. Okay. Next month, the next time I launch my subscription box, the price is going to go up to $10. It's going to go up $10. The membership is going to go up $5 when I launch again in September. Okay. So you want to snag it now at the lower price if you want. Okay. So it's going to close on Sunday, and then that's it until September. All right. This is a video of my exclusive lesson plans for back to school that's in my membership. Okay. Now, I know, I'm sorry my internet was a little bit, it's acting kind of spicy again. But those are my exclusive lesson plans. I've got back to school. I have a back to school unit. I have an Apple unit. I have Native American unit, Holidays Around the World unit, Objects in the Sky unit, Winter unit, Texas unit for Texas teachers, Rainforest unit, Ocean and Beach unit, Owls and Bats unit. Okay, that's all in my membership. So if you guys need a certificate, make sure to message me. Just post it in the Facebook group and say, hey, Kara, can you send me a certificate for this many hours? Okay. If you have watched all of the lives this week with me, that's 4 hours. All the make and takes were an hour each. So you get 4 hours for those. So just let me know. I will send you a certificate that looks like this. It has my name on it, and then it has how many hours you get, and then it has my CPE number. So you can present this to your district if you want to. And remember, I'm CPE certified, so I can give you the hours that you need. Okay? So, oh, you ready for a winner? Okay, here we go. Remember, if I draw your name, you can pick either $30 Amazon or $30 TPT. Katrina Ann. Yay, Katrina, you're my winner. Yay, congratulations. If you're watching, I am so excited for you. So thank you for submitting all your questions today. I really, really enjoyed being here with y'all. This is going to be the last live training that I will be doing in the boot camp. I'm going to miss you guys very much, but it's not over. Okay. You still have until Sunday to ask me any questions about the membership, subscription boxes, or whatever. You have until August the 1st to make sure you download all the downloads in the file section and watch all the videos. Okay. And take notes and do the make and takes. You still have until August the 1st. After August the 1st, I'm going to move you guys over to my other Facebook group called Create Your Balance with Literacy. If you're not in the membership, I'm going to move you guys over. And then you can be in my other Facebook group where I give Win It Wednesdays, and I give monthly webinars, and you can also earn PD credit in that other Facebook group as well. But this one is just for my membership people and my subscription box people, okay? So you guys have a fabulous day. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, let's take your classroom to the next level. Bye, guys. Love you. Mwah.